Hey, quit staring at my mountains. If you're watching this video, you're probably not subscribed, because at least 53% of you guys aren't subscribed. What's up with that? Click that button, it's free. It gets you updates whenever I upload. Do it. So I can feed myself. Hey. Yo, what's up guys? Vlad back here with another video. Today I'm a little bit different. It's actually not Vlad here, it's Sky Striker Ace Gay. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Sky Striker deck, and more importantly, the card that just got off the ban list, baby. It's Ray! She's back! You thought she was just gone forever, but no! Konami decided to put Engage back to one, and I just had to profile one of my favorite decks of all time ever. Now, do keep in mind, I'm not sure if this deck will ever be tier 1 once again. One Engage does really hurt a lot, but I think you can expect to potentially just lose to this deck occasionally. This deck is extremely powerful even with just one Engage, but due to the modern climate, it might not be enough, but only time will tell. Without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. And starting off with the monsters, we have 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Ray. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. You must play 3 copies of this card. This card is absolutely phenomenal. Most of you already know that if you've played this deck before. You really do just need to see a monster. Even with Engage being back at 1 now, you still kind of need to see a Striker monster to get your plays going. Additionally, there you go. There's the 2 copies of Rose also. You just need to play Rose. You can kind of get away with playing 1 copy, but I feel like the games you lose in this deck are the ones where you just don't draw a monster. And I feel like just playing the Roses as a 2 of is just fine. You do have Rhoda, you have Engage, you have ways to see a Sky Striker Ace monster. I think it's fine just to play 2, but you can choose to play 3 if you want, though. I can kind of see why you would want to play 3. I just feel like drawing too many of the monsters can be really bad, and you kind of want to try find a balance of drawing at least 1 monster without drawing multiples. Next, onto the hand traps. This is a very big hand trap package. We're playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Effect Veiler, and 3 copies of Ghost Belle. Along with the other hand trap we also play 3 copies of Infinite Permanence. So you can, depending on what your local meta is and what you are expecting to play against, these hand traps do kind of change. If you're expecting to play against a lot of combo decks like Drytron, you might want to main deck Droll Lockbird. The problem with playing Droll Lockbird in a deck like this is that you can't really take advantage of the turn that they give you, because a deck like this is very slow. And if you just Droll Lockbird, then they still have the same amount of resources as they did on their first turn. So unless you can kill them or set up a very big, lots of big interruptions, your Droll Lockbird essentially just did nothing. It just made it so you have a turn, but your turn didn't really do much. So you rather just have cards that actually 1-for-1 with the cards that they have. So for example, maybe something like DD Crow could be good, Skullmeister could be good, Psycho Reader in the main deck, but I really highly doubt you're going to be playing Psycho Reader in the main deck. I think Belle, Imperms, and Veilers and Ashes are fine against Drytron. Against Drytron, you can use Veiler or Infip on their Diviner the Heralds, or even the Moo Beta Fafnir is pretty good. Ghost Belle can negate the effects of things like Gamma to be able to summon from the graveyard, as in like the Drytron Gamma, not the hand trap. But you can also do Gamma. You can also do Belle on the Gamma, also the hand trap. But nevertheless, I think these hand traps are fine. You can maybe think about playing Nibiru, but once again, all depends on what the format is. We don't know what the format's going to be, but these are just very interchangeable. I do think that these Ashes and Veilers are probably going to stick, though. These cards are just so good, and since that the Tri-Brigade deck is still pretty good, I feel like these Ashes and these Veilers and Imperms and Bells are all really good against that deck also, especially now that they're not ending on Trident. Their Revolt is a lot more important now, and Belle for Revolt is a very, very strong play. Now on to the spells, the bread and butter of the Sky Striker deck. We've got the newly limited Engage. My god, I cannot believe they put this card back. I was just chilling here with my 3 copies from Dark Saviors for the longest time, and I was like, when will I ever be able to play these again? And it was sooner than I thought. A year later, and it's unmanned. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I can't believe this card's legal again. I'm so excited to draw cards once again. But once again, this is the most powerful card in the deck by far. Such a strong card, getting a +1 off of it. If you start your turn with this and 3 spells in graveyard, you are probably winning the game, as long as it doesn't get interrupted or you get Peter Lordered, I guess. Next, we've got multi-roll, very strong card to reset your cards. Now, you're never going to be using this to reset your engages unless you've run out of Kagaris, I suppose. The card's still very good, lets you send Area 0 to be able to get a summon from that, which is really nice. Next, we've got Hornet Drones, which is another way to start your engine. Also, once again, searchable off engage. And it's also nice, sometimes you do want the Hornet Drones instead of a Ray, because this does put another spell into your graveyard, so that can kind of be nice. Especially if you have a Ray in graveyard already, you can kind of just try to get this in rotation early, just so you have the extra spells. The extra spell in grave can be very, very important, essentially. Next, we've got the 3 copies of Widow Anchor, extremely powerful card, even now in 2021 standards. Forbidden Chalice is a card that people are tending to play, especially in last format, not so much this new format, because we don't know what's the new format yet, but Widow Anchor is still a very powerful card, especially since the fact that there's just no other card like it. It's such a powerful card. Killing your opponent with their own monsters always feels great, if you're the person who's dealing the damage. Not on the receiving end, though. Next, we got the 2 copies of Shard Cannon. You can technically play 3 of this. It is pretty good against Drytron, but it isn't the greatest against everything else. One cool thing you can think about with this card is if your opponent activates the effect of something like Tri-Brigade Karis and discards a Kit or a Nerval, if you change Shard Cannon to that Kit or Nerval, they don't get those effects because they've moved locations. And that's pretty good. That's a really nice disruption that you can do, but that's realistically the only way you're ever going to get value out of this card in that matchup. Apart from, you know, taking their Link monsters and killing them with it, which can be pretty good. One problem, though, is that if you're playing as Tri-Brigade, you need to keep track of what Link monsters they made the real way. Because if they summon a Link monster with the Tri-Brigade effects, you can't Shard Cannon summon them to your field because they weren't summoned properly, so do keep that in mind. Next, we've got the 1 Afterburns and the 1 Jamming Waves. I'm not the biggest fan of Jamming Waves, but I can kind of see as to why you'd want to play it. I just really liked the option of having Jamming Waves, just even with the 1 Engage. It's just nice to have a variety of things to choose from, but once again, we don't know what the meta is. This could realistically just be another Afterburns, to be perfectly honest, but only time will tell. This isn't the most definitive striker list, once again. This is just some options that you can have. And then rounding off our Sky Striker spell lineup, we've got the 2 copies of Area 0 and the 1 copy of Terraforming. It is a bit yikes to play this now that people are playing Drone Lockbird, but even then I think it's still fine. You're probably just going to be losing to Droll anyway. Well, you're not always going to be losing to Droll, to be honest, because it's not like engaged at 3 or anything. You're not going to be consistently opening it, and your first few turns you're probably they're not going to get that much value off the Droll. You're just trying to stabilize essentially as fast as possible, and then try to control the game from there. I think 2 Area 0 is fine. I don't think we realistically need to play 3 of it. The card's not that fantastic, especially now that we're not playing that many Sky Striker cards to begin with. It can kind of miss quite often. You don't want to ever break with multiple copies of this. I think playing the 2 and the 1 is fine. You can even honestly cut one of the Area 0s for Mystic Mine. I'm not playing it in the main deck. I don't think it's particularly great, especially when we don't know what the meta is to play Mystic Mine, because a lot of decks, like control decks, can just beat Mystic Mine, so it can be pretty bad. Running off our spell lineup, we've got Reinforcing the Army, because it gets us to Ray, and that's pretty good. We got Upside Goblin, because it's a free spell card in our graveyard. Playing a copy of Called by the Grave. Really strong card, beats Ash on your engage, and that's where you really want to stop. It's also just a trap card a lot of the time against something like Prankade. Is very strong. Against Tri-Brigade, it's very good. Unfortunately, Heretic Seal is not really a card that people are summoning anymore because Dragonlink's gone, but well, Dragonlink could still be in the format, you never know. But yeah, I think this card's just an all-around solid card. I don't think it's a spell as well. It's nice. It's just a nice card. Also playing 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. We're also playing 3 copies of Cosmic Cycle. I think these cards are just fine, especially if a lot of people are going to be playing Sky Strike or Salamangreat. I think these cards are very good just to stabilize, because we are trying to go second, and we are trying to kind of push their boards. Now, you'll notice, this is only 37 cards, and there's 3 more cards here, and this might be a bit of a controversial one. Oh, it's 2 Foolish Burial Goods and a Metalphos Fusion? No. We are still running 3 copies of Pod Desires. I don't want to hear it. No, but Vlad! Sorry, but Sky Striker Ace Gay, what if you banish the Engage off Desires? Shut up. Don't be a pussy. You'll never banish the Engage off Desires. Mark my words. If you are a real Sky Striker player, you will never banish Engage off of Desires. Only real ones can do this. Every real Sky Striker player knows how to go Area 0, target Ray, chain Ray, make Hayate, and then get Engage off the top every single time. If you can't do this, you're not a real Sky Striker player, and you are not fit for the Sky Striker army. But as for actual reasoning as to why to play this card, even when Engage wasn't around, you played this card. This card is just a +1. Now you can theoretically play Pot of Prosperity. I'm not about that. I really like having the option to have all my extra deck in one piece. And I think this is the only real draw card you can play in this deck. Now you can make an argument for Foolish Burial Goods, but I just don't think that card does enough. And I think Pot of Desire is just a consistent way to just make the deck a lot more powerful. You can get away with not having Engage in your deck. You can also just, if you do have Desires and you do have a Ray, you can just always go Ray into Hayate, send Engage, and then go Desires. And then you can figure out what to do from there. It's fine. Most of the cards in your deck you play as 3-ofs, except the Engage. And obviously these two, but these don't matter that much. They're not like detrimental to banish. This is the only real one that's kind of detrimental to banish. But even then, you can kind of just survive. If you're getting a +1, you're probably drawing more Sky Striker spell cards, and those cards are pretty good. You can just kill them without having Engage, you know? But it does suck when you do banish Engage. But if you're a real one, like I said, you're not going to be banishing Engage ever. On to the extra deck, we have this little nice 2019, because that's the last time I was able to play this deck. We got the Sky Striker Ace token. If you don't have the token, can't play the deck, I'm sorry. We got 3 copies of Kagari, 3 copies of Shizuku, 3 copies of Hayate, 1 copy of Kana, and 1 copy of Zeke. These are the 11 Striker links that you play. You can theoretically cut down a Hayate if you want to have a bit more space. I think it's fine to just play 3 of all of them. Your extra deck doesn't really matter that much. The most important ones are the Shizukus and the Kagaris. The Hayates a little bit, and then the Kaina, I think it's just a nice one of. I think Zeke's one that you could cut entirely. A cool thing about Zeke, though, is that you can banish itself if you have Mystic Mine. So if you Mystic Mine your opponent games 2 and 3, if you're setting it in, you can summon Zeke. Just say if you make Zeke with a Widow Anchored monster, you can go make Zeke with their monster and your Sky Striker monster, and then you can go Zeke to target itself to banish itself, so you blink it until the end of your opponent's turn. Your opponent's locked under Mystic Mine, and then when your turn passes back to you, you're going to have a Zeke that you can turn to Hayate, you can poke them directly, and then you can kind of just chill out. If you do play Hercules base, you can just recycle the Zeke, and you can kind of keep doing this little loop over and over again, which is kind of neat, but it's a kind of neat little interaction you can do. Like, if you are able to kill your opponent in the following turn, you can just go Zeke easily into the kill engine that we're playing, which I kind of probably should have put down, which is the Halki Firebacks package of Hulk, Selene, and Access Code. We really do need to play those cards, not gonna lie. And then Lina. Lina is a card that you don't realistically need to play. I kind of just like this against something like Eldritch, because against Eldritch you can take their Golden Lord and just kill them. It's really easy to just kill them. Now this can be just Hida. You can realistically just play Hida. If you're expecting to play against a lot of Mind Greats, you can just play Hida. It doesn't really matter which of the Charmer links you play. I think just playing one is fine. If you don't know the combo, by the way, in this deck, the combo quotation marks is you make Hulk with any tuner. Either you normal summon the tuner, or you take one of theirs with either Anchor or Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon more likely, because you can Shark Cannon your opponent's hand traps, summon them to your field, and then make a Hulk. Then you go Hulk, summon a Effect Veiler from your deck, Effect Veiler and Hulk turn to Selene. Selene brings back the Veiler from your graveyard or whatever spellcaster in your grave, and then you make Access Code with those, and that's 5,300 damage. If you have a Kagari, that can be another 1,500 and more damage, and then if you have an Anchor, you can easily kill your opponent from there. Zeke's another easy way to kill your opponent too. Zeke does just have the effect where it can gain 1,000 attack points if you send one other card on the field to the graveyard. So if you can go Zeke, sending away your Area 0, for example, it summons a Ray from deck, and then that's 4,000, which is the Zeke and the Ray, and then you can also have Access Code for 53 for game, which would be lethal through Upside Goblin. That's 9,300 damage. Very fun. But yeah, that rounds out the extra deck and the main deck for the Sky Striker deck. Let me know what you guys think about Striker in the comments down below. Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think it's going to be bad? Let me hear your thoughts. I've been Vlad, and I'll see you guys next time.